It says green, but I don't know how the internet's treating me tonight. Am I live? Who knows? We'll have to see, I guess. There it is. Yep. Welcome, everyone. Wow, that's a great way to start off tonight's Tank Talk Live. Thank you for joining me. We've already got quite a few people in here waiting. Thank you to all that have come by to hang out with me tonight on draft night. Yeah, I have it on, but I don't care too much because I'm not one of those people that goes crazy on draft night for the NFL, by the way, in case you're wondering. So, first time joining us, all of the stuff that you're going to see today is going to be, or that we're going to talk about today, comes from the comment section of my videos. All of my videos. There's no particular video that these come from. So if you ever want to see your question get answered in one of these live shows, then put them in the comments. Don't do it in the chat here. Put it in the comments of one of my other videos, and you never know. We might see it. Wow. On a future episode. So going to break this up into segments like we do every week, and we always start off, well, we've only been doing it a couple of weeks, but we start off with what's going on. The first thing that I want to talk about tonight on what's going on is my friend Corey did a video that I watched every single minute of today. And you know what? Before I get into that, let me make sure that we're all good. Yeah, everybody's here. Okay, good. Whew. Just wanted to make sure. Now, my internet, I've told everybody to get off, but who knows if they actually did. I keep seeing the box is going from green to red. I hope we're not jumping and skipping and all that other stuff. Anyway, Corey did a great video today over on the Aquarium Co-op channel. He didn't do it today. He filmed it a while back. I think it was actually the week of Aquashella. Absolutely amazing tour of, is it pronounced Goliad Farms? I might be botching that completely, but I watched every minute of it. It's an hour-long video. If you are a fish lover, which obviously you are, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't, you will love that video, and I definitely recommend that you go over there and watch it. It's just really cool. It's cool to see how a farm does it. I've been to farms. This farm's doing it different, and it's really cool. I really like what he's doing over there. Very, very natural, the way he's doing things over there. It's very cool. And the way it was shot and everything from Jimmy and Corey, it was really cool. Very cool video. Go check it out. Don't be intimidated by the fact that it's so long. I watched every minute of it. Now, granted, I was sitting in traffic, so, you know, I didn't have anything else to do, but still, it was a good watch. And I would definitely recommend that video to you. Next thing we got to talk about is something I made the decision this morning that I was going to talk about this. You saw the thumbnail of this video. You're probably wondering, why is John showing a picture of 3 Aratus in a bag and it says, "Stop it"? What is this all about? Does he not like Aratus? Is this a problem that he has with Aratus? No, it has nothing to do with that at all. There's only one person, well, maybe a few, that saw that thumbnail and actually know what that's from. It's a screenshot of a video that was posted to the Tank Talk Facebook group. If you're not familiar with that group, it's, I started the group, but I don't want to call it mine. I guess technically it is, but the Tank Talk Facebook group is a fishkeeping group that I believe is one of the better ones out there. It's a beautiful place for fish keepers to gather and socialize and celebrate this hobby together. There is a bunch of great people like Candy Overhauls and Kevin Green and Paul Martin and others. I'm sorry, I'm not mentioning everybody that do a great job moderating things over there. That post came from that. And I didn't like it at all. It wasn't the post. What I didn't like was the response to that post. Here's the thing. This guy, I don't know his name, and if I knew his name, I wouldn't say it. He posted this video of these 3 new Aratus that he just brought home from the pet store that he's proud of, and he's happy. He's excited because he got these 3 fish and he's putting them in the tank, and he wanted to share that with the group. You know, hey, look what I did. I got these fish. Isn't it exciting? And people in the comments section of that post started to slam him, and maybe not slam him, but slam the fish. Start talking about how these fish are, pardon me, assholes, and how they're these horrible fish. Some of them said, good luck with those fish, ha ha ha, and all of this crap. Look, this is what we need to understand, folks. This is the old man coming out in me. I'm sorry. This is what we need to understand. Before you flex your muscles and try to show everybody in the comment section of these posts how smart you are, and before you try to be clever and try to be funny and get people to like your post, you need to think about what the post is, okay? This guy is excited about these fish. Whether you like those fish or not, it doesn't matter. He is excited about these fish, and shame on you for ridiculing him for getting those fish. That's my point behind the whole thing. If you can't say something nice in any group, not just mine, any group, just don't say it. Leave it alone. Move on. Find somebody else to pick on. When somebody is excited about it, why would you try to take that away from them? To tell them how horrible those fish are and how mean they are. Yeah, I know that erratas have a reputation. I get it. I mean, it is what it is. But that doesn't mean that you need to flex your muscles and show how much you know to people when they're posting something that they're excited about on Facebook. I see it all the time. I've said this before. There goes red again. I don't know. I'm just going to keep on talking. We're going to cross our fingers. I hope everybody listened to me and got off the internet in this house. So I've talked about this before. I don't know if you know this, if everybody watching this knows this. I completely got off of all social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of it. All social media. I don't look at YouTube the same way because I'm not sharing my life and this is what I had for dinner today. I'm not doing that on YouTube. I'm sharing videos that is trying to help people out, and I enjoy making videos, and it's a different thing to me than what is going on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. I had to get away from all social media because of situations like this. I could not take it anymore because I'm going to be that guy that's going to lose it on these people. And then all of a sudden I'm a bad guy and everybody hates me and there will be all these campaigns against me and I don't have time for all that garbage. So I just stay away from it. I'm out of social media altogether. No, I'm done. I'm sorry. I keep looking over it and I need to stop doing that. Shame on me. I'm working here. Why would I look over there? I had to get away from social media because I just can't take it. I can't take the know-it-alls. I can't take the people who believe that their opinion matters more than anyone else. I just can't take it. And this is the reason why. And you know what I've seen? I've seen a lot of people do the same thing. I'm not saying they're following me. Of course not. But I've seen a lot of celebrities, and I'm starting to see a lot of it now where people are getting away from social media because of everything that happens on social media. This is the reason. I'm just going to say it. I'm sorry. If YouTube can demonetize me. These assholes in my group ridiculing this guy that's posting pictures of fish that he's proud of, that he's excited about buying, them ridiculing him is why I'm off of all social media. I know it might sound hypocritical because I'm still on YouTube and everybody considers YouTube to be social media. I don't, but whatever. Everything else I had to get off of. So if you're ever wondering why I'm not active on the Facebook group, that's why. The one time I go on there, and I don't even know what I was on there for, the one time I go on there, I see that. And it's like, why? Why even waste my time? I stay away from it. The only thing I ever use on social media, other than YouTube, is Facebook Messenger. I completely stay away from everything else. Now, there are people, like we just talked about Corey, that would say, hey, John, you're trying to build a following on YouTube. Facebook will help that, and it'll be great for business. I understand, and I don't care, because I just can't take the stress of that madness that goes on that website and every other social media website. So I'm off of it, and it's because of assholes like that have gotten me off of it. Hope nobody's offended by that word. If you are, I'm sorry, but hey, just going over the edge here today. So had to say that. That's why I put that in that thumbnail today. It's not clickbait, not at all, because we're talking about it right here, right now. We need to be better than this. We need to stop flexing our muscles. We need to stop trying to prove that we're smarter than other people. I know that sounds hypocritical because I'm sitting here talking to 226 people right now, acting like I'm some kind of expert. I'm not acting like I'm an expert. I've never said I'm an expert. So I'm not being hypocritical here. You don't need to show how much smarter you are. You don't need to show that you know something that someone else doesn't. Nobody cares. Your feelings don't matter. Keep them to yourself, and everybody will live happily ever after. Right? That's the way I look at it. So I know there's a lot of people that feel the opposite way. You know what? We can feel different about it, and we can still be friends. That's the way I live. If you do things differently than me, I don't care. We can still be friends. As long as no one's getting hurt, as long as there's no animal abuse or child abuse or any, you know what I'm saying? Unless you cross the line, we can disagree and we can still be friends. I believe in that wholeheartedly, and I live by that every single day. What's happening right now? I don't know. That is weird. Did my stream just cut off? Am I live? I don't know if I am or not. Yeah, I guess I am. Okay. I got the chat up real quick here. Everybody let me know. Are we good? Are we on? I know the numbers just all dropped off. Back on now. Okay. I don't know what happened. Hopefully everybody comes back because they're like, oh, John's ranting. But you know what? I could go on this all night long. We don't have all night to go because I wouldn't be able to keep anybody around for any length of time. But yeah, I could go on this all night long because I believe so strongly about it. And we're going to talk about this next case that involves another, it's kind of a similar thing, but then again, it's not. Anyway, you saw in the title of this video, I put the gold wedding, and anybody that is a fan of Game of Thrones will understand that because I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a very notorious thing in that series called the Red Wedding, where everybody gets killed. Sorry if I'm spoiling things for you. And so this story happens to be about goldfish being killed. And so I called it the Gold Wedding because it involves goldfish being killed at a wedding. So that's perfect, right? God, John is so clever. I got this. Shame on me. It's cutting off again. Oh, what's happening here? I'm gonna sit here for a second and make sure it comes back on. This keeps... Oh my God, this is driving me nuts. I don't know what's happening, folks. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening with this. And listen, I don't know what Coolest Cool Rat posted. I just want more opinions. Dude, I'm going to address your comment later on. So relax. Because just relax. You're on my list, okay? I've seen you in the chat multiple times today already, and I'm glad you're here. I'm excited that you're here. But I've seen it over and over and over again. You're asking the same question. I'm going to answer it, but not yet. Hopefully we're live. I don't know. If this keeps going on, I'm going to end up shutting it down. And you know what? We were going to talk about how, I don't know how good this is going. We got a lot of stuff going on, and we might be starting something very, 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 very big here soon. And I might have to stop doing this live. because of that. Wouldn't take it away. I would still do it, but I wouldn't do it live. And if my internet keeps doing this, then that might make my decision for me. I'm not ready to make the announcement of the really, really, really big thing yet. But believe me when I tell you it is really big. So anyway, what happened here? I'm going to just go and I'm going to see what happens. In case you're wondering, I'm watching myself on my tablet. And I'm doing that just because I want to make sure everything's up. I don't have the chat up, but I just want to make sure everything is up and running. If you're wondering why I keep looking down there. So back to this story. Let me get to it here. Daggone it. I wish I knew. Let me get to it. I have it. I think I have it right here. Yep. Darren Green sent me this. And you know what? I can show it to you right here. I forgot about that. So he said, John, a what's going on story from the UK. This will make you rant. I guess I'm in that mood today, aren't I? So the article, let me see here. This is fun, not knowing if anybody's actually seeing or hearing what I'm saying. So here we go. All right, I'm going to have to move for a second. I'm going to read you this article, and you can kind of read along with me. The first paragraph anyway. So, a maid of honor has revealed how she was given a very bizarre duty at her friend's wedding. That title just sounds really weird. The unimpressed woman was forced to clean up 99 dead goldfish after the bride's fishbowl centerpiece decorations went horribly wrong. Candy Overhauls, thank you. She sent me a message and that came through and I saw it. Taking to Reddit, the maid of honor revealed how the bride loves animals and is an on and off again vegetarian and PETA supporter. In order to feature, I don't think you have to be a PETA supporter to be an animal lover. Anyway, in order to feature her love of nature at the wedding, the bride said she wanted bowls filled with live goldfish placed in the middle of the tables. When I said this in the 10 Things video, you thought I was making it up, didn't you? No, there's more articles than this one, but we're only going over this one tonight. There's another one about betas. The idea was that the goldfish could double up as favors, with guests being able to take one home at the end of the night. Isn't that sweet? However, the maid of honor had her reservations, and for good reasons, it turned out. I think that's the rest of, that's all that you can see. The friend revealed she was worried about the welfare of the goldfish on the night, and also that guests wouldn't want to adopt a surprise pet at the end of the wedding. Smart friend. She voiced her concerns to the bride, who was adamant she wanted to do the goldfish idea and placed the maid of honor on floater duty for any dead fish during the night. The shocked maid of honor revealed the bride told her, well, that can be your job during the reception. Just keep an eye out for dead ones and replace them before anyone notices. They're called feeder fish for a reason. They don't live long. Everyone knows that. We'll buy them that morning. They only need to survive through the reception. The wedding came around, and the woman spent her night checking on the 40 centerpieces that contained 100 goldfish. Many of the swimmers didn't survive the night and had to be replaced, and, as predicted, most guests didn't want one at the end of the wedding. The maid of honor said she was left with 80 goldfish at the end of the night as the bride and groom jetted off on their honeymoon. She wrote, "Isn't it strange how not a single guest was willing to take home a goldfish?" It couldn't have helped that the bride didn't think to provide containers for them. So will the bride and groom be adopting these 80 goldfish plus about 10 spare still in the back swimming around in the giant bag from the pet store? Alas, they can't. They headed off on their honeymoon. Such a shame. Now, bye. I still hope this is... I guess I'm still on. Okay, good. With that, they were gone. Now, I was literally the only person from the wedding left in the building. The host still needed their globes back. That night, I strolled into a big box pet store in a big, fluffy red satin floor-length gown, heels clacking on the tiles and purchased a big ass rectangular tank, a filter, and some fish flakes. See, this is why you can't be offended by me saying that word earlier, because they're putting it in newspaper articles. Come on now. A few were dead by the time I got home, then more the next morning, more again in the afternoon, and in the evening and next morning. The woman said that by the third day, they were down to 5 goldfish, and then they lost 1 a day until there was only 1 of the 100 fish left alive. She added, and the last one, 5 years, I named it Sun. She added, and the last one, 5 years, I named it Sun. It lingered far longer than my friendship with the bride, and far, far longer than their marriage. That is hilarious to hear that at the end. Let me get this off of here because it's taking up too much of the screen. Oh boy. You know exactly what John's going to say about this, don't you? I know. The first thing I'm going to say is, I know we've been talking about goldfish too much. I know I have been going on and on and on and on and on. And Lisa's been going on and on about feeder fish and goldfish over the last few weeks, and it's become a bit too much. I get it. I understand. And after this, I'm going to try my best not to talk about them anymore. But the thing is, it's been a hot button thing in our channel, on our channel, over the last few weeks. And so people are sending me stuff. And this gentleman sent me this, but Lisa also sent it to me. She's been scouring the internet looking for these kind of stories, and she sent this to me also. So it was sent to me from 2 different places. And when the boss sends it to you, you know you got to cover it. So here's the deal, folks. Oh boy, how am I going to do this without making everyone hate me? The ones that don't already. So here's the deal. We live in a world right now, this happened in the UK, and it's very interesting to me how we spell words like color differently. They spell it with a O-U-R. I've never quite figured that out. I think they do that in Canada too. I don't know. Are we the ones doing it wrong, or are they? Who cares? But we all are raising, we have raised a generation of people that believe that what they want, they will have simply because they want it. And when you involve the special day, then it's whatever I want. I am the bride, whatever I want, that's what I'm going to get. And I should get it simply because I want it. Not because it's actually a good idea, but because I want it. And so you can't question me because it's my day. It's my day, and that's all that matters. And you cannot dare say anything to her like her friend tried to try to change her mind, because, hey, this is what I want, so this is what I'm going to have. And there's no thought put into, should I say the humanity of it? It's not the humanity of it because it's animals, but still, there's no thought to after. It's, this is what I want right now. And I don't care what happens after. That's someone else's problem. It's not my problem. I'm afraid that we're living in a world where that's all too common all the way across the board. It's not just with weddings. I've been there, done that. It didn't work out all that well. So weddings, I mean, why these people spend thousands and thousands of dollars for a wedding is crazy to me anyway. But we're not going to go there. But what I'm saying is, across the board with everything, that generation, the younger generation, I have children in that generation. I'm not sitting here, trying to be that guy. But what I'm saying is that generation believes, I mean, it's what I want. So why can't I have it? And it goes with everything. I want that job. I don't want to have to work for it. I want that job. I want those fish. I want to have fish in a centerpiece on my tables in my wedding. And because I want it, I should have it. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Listen, let me tell you this. Anyone who's getting married, first of all, I think marriage is a beautiful thing and good for you. When you go to have your wedding ceremony, there is not going to be one person that's going to be impressed with your stupid centerpiece on your table, especially if it has a fish in it. And don't think that people are going to, oh my God, can I please take one home with me? No, they're not going to want to do it. Just like in this, I almost said a bad word. In this idiot's wedding, nobody took the fish home. Why? Because they didn't go there looking for fish. Nobody wants to take a surprise pet home. I could go all night long. The stupidity that people do with fish, that if they did it with any other animal, people would lose their minds. Can you imagine if there was a bird cage in the center of every table and there were parakeets in those, and the bride was saying, I just figured everybody will take them home. If they don't, oh well, somebody else will take care of it. Can you imagine? I mean, I understand this one made the news, but just imagine the uproar that would be around that case. I mean, I'd like to use dogs and cats, but I think that would just be weird to put, hey, she's got little Siberian Huskies, puppies in the centerpiece. Oh, anyway, just think about this, okay? I saw a video the other day on Philip Defranco. If you don't know who Philip Defranco is, I don't know what you're doing. Saw a video on his channel, and I stopped watching his channel a long time ago. Not because of him, but because there were stories that he was covering that just, they made me so mad that it was like ruining my whole day would be ruined. My next day would be ruined. I would lose sleep. One of them involved a cat, but this one that I saw the other day was about puppies. And you may have seen it too, because when I said something to Lisa about it, she had seen it. But the video that he showed was a surveillance video of a low-life piece of trash carrying a bag full of puppies. Now, when you're watching this video for the first time, you didn't realize it was puppies. It looks like this loser is just looking for a place to throw her trash. And that's exactly what she does. But it turned out that it was a bag full of puppies. All the puppies survived. They're all fine. And the woman's in jail, which is where she belongs. But the point of the story is this happens with puppies and the woman goes to jail like she should. She's a piece of trash. If it were cats, the same thing would happen. If it were parakeets, if it were guinea pigs, the same thing would happen. But when it's fish, when it's an idiot that puts fish on tables at her stupid wedding that everybody just wants to go home from, nobody cares. It might have a little article. It's a funny article. It's fun. It's cute. But nobody's in an uproar. There's not going to be anybody going to jail. I mean, I don't know if she should go to jail. Can you imagine that? Yeah, I put goldfish in my centerpieces for my wedding and I'm here now in jail. I think that would be a bit of a stretch, but oh God, it's good to see that it's at least making the rounds. Maybe not to the scale that the woman with the puppies did, but it's good to see that at least people are recognizing it. I could go a lot farther, but we don't have all night. The internet's going in and out. The draft is on. I don't know who's watching that and not watching me. I don't blame you if you are, but it's good to see that at least it's getting some attention when this madness happens involving fish. Someone else, I'm just going to put this on here. Here we go. I worked a wedding reception where they put betas in vases, like 30 or more of them at certain tables. The staff was about to throw them all away at the end, and I was furious. I gathered them all up in my cooler. Oh, thought I saw it go out again. And all the water and took them home. I called a really good mom and pop fish specialty shop near me the next day, and thankfully they took them all in and they got real homes. That's a beautiful thing. Thank the Lord for people like Nazo Madmario. I'm afraid one of these days I'm going to do this and it's going to be like Hugh Janus. You know what I mean? Phil McGroin. I'm afraid it's going to be one of those people and I'm going to fall for it. But I think the comment would probably be a little different if they were playing that kind of a joke on me. What is that called when people do that? If you ever want to have a good laugh, those are the best YouTube videos to watch. the people on the news that are doing like happy birthday announcements and they get them with those names. Oh my God. You remember Bart Simpson did that to the bartender? It's so funny. I love that. But thank you to people like that will actually do something about it. And thank you to the fish shop that took them in and did the right thing with them. I mean, these people are getting out of control. Listen, unless it's the mom and dad, nobody wants to be at a wedding. Nobody wants to be there. They want to go home. They don't want to mess around with your stupid fish. And they're not impressed by your fish, by your stupid fish decoration is what I'm saying. Nobody cares about that. They just want to go home and put their jammy pants on and watch Netflix. They don't even want to be there to begin with. So you don't have to go that far to try to impress people, because more than likely they're not looking around at your stupid decorations anyway. So anyway, I'm surprised that we haven't lost everybody between the internet connection and me being such a jerk today. But you know what? If there's one thing I will not do is I will not BS you. I'm not putting on a show to, I'm not going to act all PC to keep people around. I mean, this is the real me. This is how I am. Anybody that's met me in person knows this. This is how I feel about things. And I don't claim to be some kind of tough guy or anything like that. But when nonsense like this happens, I'm going to call them out. And this is I'm a firm believer in I will not say anything on this stream or on my videos or in social media that I would not say to whoever the person is, that I wouldn't say it to their face. And if this person was in front of me, I would say, your wedding was a disaster, your marriage didn't even last, and you're an idiot for putting those fish on the centerpieces of your tables. Shame on you. Now go away because nobody likes you. Ask Lisa. I would say that. And I wouldn't care if she cried and walked away, because she deserves it, because she's a jerk. So anyway, let's move on now. And I'm so distracted because I can't stop looking. There's a little box at the bottom of the OBS software that I use. And the box is either green or orange or yellow or red, meaning how the strength of your stream is. And as long as it's green, everything's great. But it keeps flashing to different colors and it's freaking me out. But we're going to press on. We've still got a lot of people in here watching, so I guess something's going okay. If you're wondering, folks that are watching, if you're wondering why I'm not responding to anything in the chat, it's because I don't see it. I don't address the chat because, as you've seen, if this is your first time visiting, I can go all over. And if I am looking at the chat, believe me, I go all over, even farther than that. If there are people that are generous enough to donate to our KG Tropicals cause by way of super chat, I will absolutely shout you out at the end of this video. I promise. I'm going to try to wrap things up as quick as I can tonight. And understand, I'm not asking for super chats, but you don't have to wait till the end to do it. If you are one of those people, I get it. I understand. I mean, I'm not a celebrity, but I understand hearing your name said is a cool thing. I get it. It doesn't matter if it's somebody that has 100 subscribers or somebody that's about to hit 100,000. I'm so excited about that. I know it's cool to hear your name said, and I will say it. I promise. You don't have to wait till the end, though. You can put it in whenever you want, and then I'll get to it at the end. But for now, we need to get to the next segment of the show, which is going to be some Q&A. Uh-oh, this one's covering up my big bald head. I'm going to make it small. If you're watching this on a phone, you probably can't read it, but I'm going to read it to you, so it doesn't matter. Hey, John, been watching all your videos on YouTube. There's 400 of them. You must have been at it for a while. The Q&A are probably my fave. Tank Talk is pretty good, too. Well, they're one and the same, but thank you. I've been wanting to ask a question that I hope you could answer, as I've been having a hard time finding an answer online. It's because people are jerks online. I'm not a jerk. I'm wanting to know about pre-filters for canisters. I know what they do, but I'm wanting to know if they will make my canister pump work harder and wreck the pump. Would I get a separate pump for pre-filter? Can I use a second canister as a pre-filter? I ask about using a second canister just to reduce the maintenance, as I'd only really have to clean one. And that's kind of true, but kind of not. Anyways, mate, thanks for taking the time to read and hopefully reply, even if you just have a video you can recommend I watch. This was sent from somebody that I do not remember his name. And the reason why it looks different from what the others are is because this was sent by way of email. I don't typically recommend people send the questions to the email, but this was a good one. So I was like, all right, I'll use it. So that's why it looks different. He emailed me instead of putting it in the comments. You're pretty much, this is going to make me sound like a jerk, but you're pretty much guaranteed not to get an answer if you put, well, you're not guaranteed because it could be answered here, but I don't go through my comment section of my videos and answer every single comment. I wish I could, but it's impossible to do that. My channel gets about 350 comments a day. We're getting somewhere between 40 and 50,000 video views a day. This is a good thing. It's a beautiful thing, folks. There's no way I can answer all those. Now, it's true. A lot of the comments are, hey, you're a jerk, or hey, great video, and there's really not a need for a response. But still, probably half of them are looking for a response, and there's just no way I could do that. I mean, I work a full-time job, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to take this off because I keep running into it with my head. It's hurting my head, this side. So there's no way I can answer all of the comments, but you have the chance if you put it in the comment section that I might address it here. So you never know. Roll the dice. So anyway, pre-filters to me, I have one on there. I do not have one on there. And it's not because I chose not to put one on there. I just didn't have one. When I set up that tank, I ordered the light off of Aquarium Co-op. While I was there, I said, I'm going to pick up one of those pre-filters, sponge filter, pre-filter things, and I'm going to put it on there. No big deal. These are big poopers. It'll be a good thing. So that's why that's on there. I'm a big fan of those. Look how clean that tank is. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's sparkling. The water literally looks blue. That's a black background. Yeah, the light has something to do with that. Leave me alone. So I don't have the blue. I mean, I have it all 100%, everything. All of the colors are 100% on there. So that tank looks good. Look at that thing. It looks great. But I put one on there because it's an African cichlid tank. I'll probably be adding more fish to that. And that has to do with that big thing I was talking about. Anyway, the big thing is not adding fish to that. It's much bigger than that. But I put it on there because there are big poopers in there. Big eaters, big poopers, big waste producers. And I just figured it would be a good thing to have in there. I don't know, my head's in the way. You can see right there. See that? There's a sponge filter right there. That's not my pre-filter. It didn't fall off. That is an actual sponge filter that's there because we're letting it get all seeded to jumpstart another tank. That's why that's in there. Lisa's actually already taken it out a couple of times and squeezed it out into new little nano tanks that she's set up. So that's why that's there. And I'm trying to cover it up with my head as good as I can. Look at that guy right there. Look how gorgeous he is. And you want to know what he is? I don't know. I thought he was a sulfur head when I bought him. And he's got a lot of the colors of a sulfur head. Look at him. He's screaming. He's gorgeous. He's become the tank boss and he's a jerk. But he's a beautiful, beautiful fish. He's more blue than I'm used to seeing on sulfur heads. Where I used to always source my sulfur heads, they were black with the orange blaze. He is a bright blue. And he's just a screamer. Love that guy. So I put the pre-filter on there for the same reasons you were talking about. Just to maybe ease up on the maintenance a little bit. Maybe prolong the time between water changes. If I can grab some of that stuff before it gets down into the filter, then it'll save me a little bit. Maybe I can go another week or two, maybe a couple weeks between water change, or not water changes, but between filter maintenance. That was the whole purpose behind doing that. And every time you add a sponge anywhere in your filter where water is moving through that, it's going to collect stuff. And that's part of the reason why that tank looks so good. It's not completely because of that pre-filter, but the pre-filter is helping that tank look as good as it does. I have an FX6 on that tank, which is ridiculous overkill on that tank. But the water is going to flow through that pre-filter. It's going to go through, and then it's going to go through a bunch more sponges before it actually gets to the media. So it's going through a ton of sponges, and that's why it's as clean as it is. I mean, we feed twice a day in that tank. Lisa feeds twice a day. Bug bites at least once a day, and then something else the other time of day. Bug bites are fantastic. I love them, but they kind of get a little messy. Stuff goes all over the place. Not a problem in that tank. It goes away really, really quick, mostly because everything gets eaten in that tank because there are 7 pigs in there. But why is he flashing? Little brat. Look at him. Anyway, not going to get distracted there. He's not sick, folks, so don't worry. But that's why I use the pre-filter. It's not for more surface area to grow beneficial bacteria. It's not anything other than prolonging the time between water changes or maintenance. But your main question was, is it going to harm the filter? Is it going to burn out the motor? I don't have any scientific data to back this up, but I'm going to confidently say the answer to that question is no. And the reason why, the sponge that I used, the pre-filter that I bought from Aquarium Co-op, super cheap. They're like $6 or something like that. Super cheap. Order one. I wish I had my link handy. I would give you my affiliate link so I could get a little cut of that. But anyway, it's pretty much the exact same consistency, that sponge, as the sponges that are in the FX6. It's like the same material, except the sponges inside the FX6 are white. This one's black, but it's the same kind of sponge. What do they call that? The same, who cares? The same kind of sponge. So it's really just kind of like adding an additional one of those. The filter is strong enough to pull the water through all of that because it's already doing that through 6 large sponges. And then the first sponges that are in the top tray or the bottom tray or the top tray, who knows? I'm all over the place, but it's going through a lot of sponges before it actually gets to the media and gets sent back out to the tank. So the answer is no. I mean, it's just kind of adding a little bit more. It's not going to burn out your motors. Now, we're talking about an extremely powerful canister filter on that tank. So if it's a smaller filter that's not quite as powerful, maybe. I don't know. I would ask around about your particular filter, but don't ask me because I've got a couple of teeny tiny little nano filters. See that little guy? I bought that off of Rob at Flip Aquatics when I was at the Aquatic Experience. It's a little teeny tiny thing. I don't know that could do it, but you know what? I'm going to take that back because I have a little pre-filter on there. It's a little teeny one, and Rob had that with him, and he just gave it to me when I bought the filter. But it's teeny. It's like a little micro pre-filter, and it doesn't affect that filter at all as far as the performance of the filter. It just helps that filter. But if I put that big honkin' one on that I have in here, it's about the same size as that sponge filter. Big giant one, if I put that on that little teeny thing, I think it would probably cause a problem then. But not with the little teeny one that's on there. So just consider the size of your filter. If it's a powerful filter, if you're using something like an Emperor or a Penguin, I don't know if you're using canisters or hang-on backs, you're going to be fine. If you're using a canister filter that relies on siphon, that might be a problem. I don't know. Have to look into that a little further. But like I know the Cobalt canister filter, you have the option of putting the pump on the output or the input. And so if you put the pump on the output, I don't know, might affect it then. But why is that fish flashing so much? He's making me look bad. There's no sickness in that tank. There's no... Maybe Lisa didn't feed him this morning. He's trying to get some food up off of there. He's not sick, I promise you. That's embarrassing for stuff like that to happen while you're doing a live stream. But it's not as embarrassing as the time I had a fish die while doing a live stream. That was bad. Let's move on to the second question because we don't want to be here all night. The Redskins are about to pick in 2 more picks. This was interesting, and I actually thought about making this the title of this stream. And did I? What did I name this thing? Yeah, I did. Should we call fish keeping a hobby? This is a great comment, and this one really got me thinking. I kind of find it odd to hear fish keeping described as a hobby. I think she meant to me, they are an animal dependent upon you to provide for its needs. That makes it a pet. But I do enjoy your videos, and I liked this one because I've been thinking about getting a betta set up for my bedroom. So, Alana Woods, thank you. Thank you for that comment. It's not really, it's kind of a question, but it really got me thinking. And that's what's important. It got me thinking because I read that and I said, how about that? She's kind of right. That we're calling this a hobby, but what we're doing is raising pets. I'm going to go again to other animals to use as analogies. If your friend has a bird, Lisa's best friend Tracy has a bird. She talks about that bird like it's a child. She loves that bird, and I don't remember its name. It's escaping me right now, but it's one of those fancy birds that, she talks about that bird like it's a child. Would she call keeping that bird her hobby? I don't think she would, any more than she would call keeping her dog or her cat a hobby. I've got 3 dogs, 3 cats, 5 kids, a grandkid. I don't call any of those hobbies, but yet we call these hobbies. It is kind of interesting if you think about it. And I'd like to hear the logic behind that because I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I do call it a hobby. I actually, if you've heard me recently, I actually say YouTube is my hobby. And fish keeping is a lifestyle. I've said that multiple times. And I've heard a lot of people describe it that way, that fish keeping is a lifestyle. But I am absolutely guilty. I've probably said it multiple times in this stream already tonight. I'm guilty of saying hobby. I say it all the time, and you probably do too. Have you ever thought about that? Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think we're like horrible people for calling it a hobby, but I think Alana Woods is right. I don't know that it's a hobby because these are pets. We're pet keepers. We're creative pet keepers. How about that? That one just got me thinking. I don't even really know how to respond to it. Maybe the hobby is the keeping of the aquariums, which house our pets. So it's kind of both. I don't know. It's weird. But I've been doing this for 25 years. Not straight through. Took a couple of breaks when I was much younger. And I've always called it a hobby. So it's weird. It got me saying, that's an interesting comment. And I'm glad she put it on there because anything that can make me think is a beautiful thing. So anyway, let's move on to the last one. And I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what this one says. Oh, it is that one. It's that one. He's been here. He might be talking right now in the chat, and he might have asked this question 6 or 7 times to 6 or 7 different people. I've seen it already today in the chat. It was the first question that was put up in the chat a half an hour before the stream started. Coolest cool rat. I'm going to assume you're a young man. And that's great. If you're a young woman, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. I can't see a woman naming, or a girl naming her channel Coolest Cool Rat. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're a guy. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. It's like, damn it, I have this question and I want it answered now. I'm going to correct your misspelling here because I'm a nice guy. I am not trying to be mean, but I have asked this question for a long time now, but it's like you seem to just skip right over it. And this is the question. Can you put an Oscar in with a bumblebee cichlid? But you just won't answer it. And I will keep asking till you answer my question. Love the videos. I have learned a lot just having trouble with this. I already have an Oscar, and she is 1 inch and a bumblebee cichlid, which is 1 inch. Please help. Okay, so I'm giving you a hard time here. I don't care how many times you put this up in the chat. I don't care how many times you put it up in the comments. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. When I saw this, I don't know when I saw it. It was like yesterday or something, and I picked it out and I put it in here. It was my first time having ever seen it. I promise I read every comment, even the mean ones. I read them all. Everyone that's put on my channel. But I never saw one from you. I promise I didn't. It doesn't mean you're lying. It just means I didn't see it. Now, it's possible that you had a word in there that wasn't supposed to be in there. Young people do that nowadays, and it might have gone to my held for review page, and then I didn't see it because I only go there when I'm looking for the funny ones. So maybe that's why I missed it. I don't know. But I had not seen this question until I was looking for questions to do on Tank Talk. So if I have offended you by not answering your questions, there could be one of two reasons. One, like I said, went into the wrong folder and I didn't see it. Or two, you're asking the question over and over again in the chat of these live streams, which I do not see. Those are probably the reasons for it. So regardless of all that, though, again, I got to say this. I said it last week. If you're going to start off a comment, I'm not getting on you here. I'm saying this to everybody. If you're going to start out a comment with, I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to be racist, I'm not trying to be a homophobe, but if you're going to start any comment that way, rethink what you're doing, because you're basically going to be offensive. You're setting it up so that people won't be mad at you, but it doesn't work. So I'm not trying to be mean. Yes, you are. And that's fine because you're frustrated. You have a question and you need it answered. I get it. You could have just skipped that part is what I'm saying. Just giving you advice because I think you're a young guy and I'm an old man. And so I'm helping you out in the future. You'll get a lot better treatment if you don't start things off like that. But anyway, you weren't mean to me here. So the answer to your question is, sure, why not? Would I do it? No, I wouldn't do it. I would not mix an Oscar with a bumblebee. Bumblebees and Oscars both have reputations for being jerks. I have never had a mean Oscar my entire life. But when I said that in my 10 Things video, oh boy, was there so many people that put comments. Novels, like Stephen King doesn't write as many words. George R.R. Martin doesn't write as many words as some of these comments are of people telling stories about how horrible their Oscars were. I've never had one be that way. So it doesn't ring true for me. But, you know, you got to go with the majority, right? And bumblebees are also one that, particularly if you get a male, and even a female, I mean, they have a reputation like erratas do, like red zebras do, like OB peacocks do, of being jerks. So you have two fish together that have a reputation for being a jerk. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I would caution you on. First of all, don't ask for advice after you've already done what you're asking. You understand what I'm saying? You've already done this, and now you're asking me, I've already done this. Is this okay? Remember? Oh, no. We haven't come out with that video yet. We're doing the 10 most common fish keeping mistakes for 10 things this weekend. And impulse buying is going to be one of those. Rather than buying the fish, putting them together, and then saying, let me see if this is okay, maybe find out if it's okay before you buy the fish. You know what I mean? Save a lot of people a lot of heartache and probably save you some money. But having said that, I've heard crazier combinations of fish before. I've heard crazier combinations like discus with African cichlids. And hey, let's talk about Corey's video today. Goliad Farms. Am I saying that right? They are breeding African cichlids in the same vats that they're breeding guppies in. Guppies are live bearers. They give birth to living fry that are smaller than a grain of rice, which would be so appetizing for any African cichlid, whether they're an Mbuna, it doesn't matter, but it works. They're breeding actively in these huge 300-gallon vats with African cichlids. Isn't that nuts? I didn't even believe that. When I heard that, I was like, that goes against every rule that's ever been written. But that's what I'm saying is just because the people on Facebook and just because the people at the pet store say one thing doesn't mean that it's absolute fact. It means that's either what they've heard or that's what they've experienced. You might have somebody that comments back to you and says, hey, I put an Oscar with a bumblebee, and you know what? The Oscar ended up eating the bumblebee about 6 months later. And that could absolutely happen because the Oscar is going to grow so much faster than that bumblebee will. And when it gets big enough, he might just say, okay, that's it. I've had enough of you. You're going down the belly. That absolutely might happen. Be like Mira and Aquaman when they were getting away from Orem. But anyway, finally saw Aquaman the other day. So it's something that could end badly, but I know people personally. Jason Adams from Primetime Aquatics is one that, no, is his, yes, it is Jason Adams. I'm sorry, because there's two Adams. Anyway, he's got African cichlids and a huge, what is that fish he's got in there? What was it? Tilapia. And they're swimming around with African cichlid, with peacocks. And there's peacock fry in there. I mean, small peacock fry that the Oscar could literally just breathe in heavy and half of them would go in his mouth, but he doesn't eat them. Isn't that weird? It is weird. It goes against every rule we've ever been taught, but it works. So just because the rule says it doesn't necessarily mean that it is fact. If you were at the pet store and you called me, I wouldn't answer. But if you called me, I wouldn't answer because I don't recognize your number. And I'd be mad at you like, how did you get this number? But if you called me and said, hey, I'm at the pet store. There's this gorgeous Oscar and a gorgeous bumblebee. Can I get them both and put them in the same tank? I would tell you I wouldn't. That's what I would tell you. I would say I wouldn't. It doesn't mean you shouldn't. It doesn't mean it won't work. But it means this guy right here wouldn't do it. So, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. And you know what? You've already done it. You did it and then went looking to see if it was okay. But, you know, there you go. I wouldn't do it. Most people that I know wouldn't do it. But, you know, then you got people like Jeff Adams that say, Jason Adams, see Jeff Adams as Jeff Rose. See, I'm all over the place. But you've got people like Jason Adams that said, you know what? I don't care. I'm a professor of marine biology or whatever it is. I'm going to do what I want because I'm smart and it works for him. So what do you think of that cup? Huh? Patrick Corbin, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg. It doesn't say KKK. It says KKKKKKKKKK. Those are strikes. Anyway, I got that at the stadium last weekend. We're going on Sunday too to a Nats game. Excited about that. The kids taking us. How about that? You know, hey, I'm going to take you to a baseball game. Gotta love that. We're sitting behind home plate. So that's it for the Q&A for today. Oh my God, the Redskins got Dwayne Haskins. And they didn't have to go up to get him. This is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not going to talk about football. But that right there just got me excited because he's a local kid and that's cool. So let's move on. Why are you people watching this? Let's move on to comment of the week. I want to preview this one before. Oh, yeah, this one I had fun reading this one. I'm not going to be mean to this person, but I had fun reading this one. So let's check it out. If you're wondering what comment of the week is, this is where I go through my comment section of all of my videos and I find comments that are just fun. They're just fun. For whatever reason, they might be something bold, they might be something silly, might be something mean. I've got two today, and the second one is not mean, but just really dumb. But this one, I got a kick out of this one. I'm not going to say the name because never get an Aqueon filter. Both of my fish died of a parasite known as ick. The parasite was growing in the filter and was spread through the water without us knowing. The next morning, one of the fish was dead and the other was covered in white parasites. I tried to save him, but it was too late. Now, I had fun reading this because I said, it almost seems like they're blaming the filter for the ick. and I don't think it's the filter's fault. I feel bad for you, Luna. I said I wasn't going to say the name. I'm not being mean to this person. I'm going to assume Luna is a girl. You weren't being mean to me, so I don't have any reason to be mean to you. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but the filter was not what caused your ick problem. Certainly, if there is ick in an aquarium and the filter is circulating the water throughout the aquarium, it will spread those pods, whatever you want to call them, and they'll spread, and it can it's a very contagious thing, and it can certainly spread ick throughout your tank. But it's not only Aqueon filters that would do that. It's every filter on the market that would do that. So I'm terribly sorry that your fish passed from ick, and that is terrible. But it wasn't your filter that did that to you. I'm sorry. It wasn't the fact that it is an Aqueon filter that did that to you. I'm excited about Dwayne Haskins. That's really cool. I'm really happy about that. Okay, and that's exactly why they did it. And all the sports radio this whole week was talking about how the Redskins are just crazy enough to give away a bunch of draft picks and move up in the draft just to make sure that they get Dwayne Haskins, and they didn't have to move up. This is the comment that is, it's one of those that it just makes me go, huh, all right, that's interesting. Oh, that's not it. That's coming in a little bit. Sorry about that. Wrong one. There it is. Okay, I'm going to read this one to you. To be honest, if you have kids or some crap who want to have fish or something at a cheap price, you can just chuck some goldfish down a 5 to 10 gallon with a cheap filter or whatever. Regardless, wait a second. Why can't I read all this? Didn't all go on here. Hold on. Let me shrink this down so we can read the whole thing. Sorry about that. Okay. Regardless of how they're doing, if you treat them with average care, like doing a weekly water change and changing the filter time to time, they can mostly last a year or two. Asking someone who just wants to see a fish swim around now and then to spend all this money, time, effort, and research into a temporary biological swimming decor, in parentheses, well, at least for most non-fish enthusiasts, will most likely just ignore you and toss a fish down a couple of gallons of water with some of that anti-fish killing chemical stuff. Any whoop. Oh, and also feeder fish are like 20 cents and live for quite a while if you get good ones. I don't even know. I don't even know. I mean, what? And the interesting thing about this is edited. If you look up there, it's edited. It went through and made sure everything was okay and fixed all of the stuff and then clicked submit again. The thing is, he's right about one thing. That your typical fish tank owner is not going to do a bunch of research. They're not going to do a bunch of work. They're not going to live the aquarist lifestyle. And that's true. And I see it every day. I saw 2 today. I went into 6 houses today. 2 of them had aquariums in them. And they were both actually very nice. One of them had a huge Midas in it. No, that was yesterday. And I thought about sparking up a conversation about it, but I would have probably been there all day. But anyway, I see aquariums in houses all the time, and they're people that just have them. They're not fish keepers. I guess they are, but they're not aquarists. They're not people that would watch some idiot in King George, Virginia, talk about fish during the draft. They wouldn't do that. They're normal people, not crazy people like us. And those people, you're absolutely right. They would not put all of that money, time, effort, and research into a temporary biological swimming decor. I wonder if that's the part that's edited. I wonder if that's the one that you said, you know what, I want to make a huge statement here. And I want to make sure that it sounds really good. So I'm going to, instead of calling these fish, I'm going to call them temporary biological swimming decor. I love life. I just love it. It's so much fun because you get to entertain yourself with stuff like this. I'm not going to continue with that because I don't know what that person was thinking. Let's do a quick John's World today. I want to proofread these. Okay, there's that, and then there's... All right, we'll do this one first because I think this is the one I showed earlier. What are your favorite movies and why? If you're wondering what this whole John's World thing is, what's this? Is John so arrogant that he just names the world after him? No, this is a segment where you, the viewers, have an opportunity to ask me something that has nothing to do with fish keeping. And Eric, RC guy, decided to ask what are your favorite movies and why with the hashtag John's World. If you have a question that doesn't have anything to do with fish, you want to ask me what I think about Dwayne Haskins, put it in the comment section of any video on my channel with the hashtag John's World, and you might see it. There's not a lot of people that care, so there's not a lot of people that are asking questions, so you'll probably get your question answered. This one's going to be fun. I had to write them down. I put a lot of thought into this. I read this comment this morning, and I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this tonight. I'm going to do this in John's World, but I had to put some thought into it. And so there's a couple of movies on this list that people are going to make fun of me for. The last three, if you make fun of me for any one of these three movies, you should be ashamed of yourself. But the first two, people might say, what? Come on. So let me explain something here to you. I'm 44 years old, which means I was born in 1974. And it was either 84 or 85, there was a movie that came out that changed everything for me. This was a movie about a young man that moves to a new area, and he doesn't really fit in to this new area. That didn't apply to me. I lived the same place my whole life. It didn't apply to me. But he started getting bullied a little bit. There was this guy who wore a really cool little headband, riding motorcycles that would beat him up. They had really cool Halloween costumes. He was having a struggle when it came to fitting in at his school. And by chance, one day, he met up with this guy, this older gentleman, that became his best friend in the whole wide world. Of course, I'm talking about The Karate Kid. Yes, I put The Karate Kid as my number 5 favorite movie of all time. Now, let me explain a little bit of the criteria here for you. What I did was, I never scroll through the channels. If I'm watching TV, I'm watching sports or I'm watching Netflix. That's just what it is. Or I have HBO now, because Dish Network doesn't offer HBO. And of course I had to have HBO for Game of Thrones. So I got HBO now. So I'm going to one of those to find a movie or something like that. But if I was flipping through the channels, any one of these 5 movies, it would not matter at what point of the movie it is. If I came across any of these 5 movies, all right, that's it. I don't care where we were supposed to go. I'm watching it until the end, and then we can go wherever we're going. So The Karate Kid is one of those. I don't care if it's past the Halloween part. I don't care if they've already been to the Cobra Kai dojo. I don't care. It doesn't matter where it is. I'm going to watch it. And so I thought it was worthy of being on my list. It's kind of like Michael Jackson Thriller. You know, I talked about my favorite songs. If I was to have put Thriller on there, it would be for the same reason that I put The Karate Kid on here. It's the nostalgia thing. It's memories of 1985 when Michael Jackson changed MTV forever and came out with this 15-minute long video that was a whole story. It's the same reason why I put Karate Kid on here, because that movie had a huge impact on my life. That crane technique at the end was fabulous. And let me tell you something. I wish I would have thought of this. One of the best things I've ever seen done on YouTube recently was done, and I think I don't even know what channel it was. Daggone it. I know there's a new series on YouTube called Cobra Kai. I've watched like the first 5 episodes of it. It's cute, but I mean, you know, whatever. I'm not anxious to watch the rest of the series. Well, they've come out with a season 2, and they did a promo for season 2, and it was one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. It's like a 30 for 30, all about the Hill Valley karate tournament, and Daniel LaRusso winning at the end, and it was awesome. One of the best videos I've seen in a very long time. So search it up, and there you go. I said we were going to do this quick. Number 4 on my list, another one. I'm a zombie head. I love zombies. I love anything and everything zombies. I just talked about Michael Jackson Thriller. The movie is Zombieland. Yes, I said Zombieland. There is a quirky, silly, funny comedy/horror movie in my top 5 movies of all time. That movie is, from start to finish, fantastic. And Woody Harrelson is one of my favorite characters in that movie of all time. And I know they're coming out with a part 2, and it's supposed to come out at the end of this year. I'm going to go see it. My daughter and I have already, we're going to do that because her and I are obsessed with that movie. But I kind of wish they wouldn't, because it's one of those you probably shouldn't mess with. I hope it's good. I don't know that there's any way it's ever going to stand up to the first one. My number 3 movie is one of 2 Martin Scorsese movies on this list. I am a sucker for Martin Scorsese. I'm a sucker for anything that has anything to do with organized crime. I absolutely love that. And when it comes to Scorsese films, the list is long of movies that I could put on this list. But again, we're talking about movies that if I just happen upon the movie at any point, I'm going to watch it. When I think of Scorsese, I automatically think of Robert De Niro, who is my favorite actor of all time. But De Niro's not in this movie. Instead, Jack Nicholson is in this movie of the part that De Niro would have probably played if he was in this movie, and that is The Departed. The Departed also stars my other favorite. I have 3 favorite actors, okay? Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, and my favorite actor of all time, Sean Penn. I know people are going to ridicule me for that. That's fine. I think Sean Penn is a genius. And he's not in that movie either. But why am I going to... Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio is one of my absolute favorite actors of all time. I'll watch anything with him in it. I don't care what it is. I'm going to watch it. I love that guy. I think he's probably a wacko in real life, but they all are, so who cares? But the cast, oh my Lord, if you have not seen that movie, what are you doing? The cast is immaculate, what they did with that movie. Absolutely fantastic. And so there you go. That is the first Scorsese to show up on this list. And no, number 2 is not the second Scorsese movie. That's going to be number 1. But my second favorite movie of all time is a film that did really good. It wasn't like a blockbuster by any stretch. In fact, most people, when I get into a movie conversation with these people and I bring this movie up, people are like, huh? I've never even heard of that movie. But it's an absolutely fantastic movie, and it is the movie that has Sean Penn in it. We're talking about Fast Times at... No, I'm just joking. No, it's not. I love the Spicoli character, and that's a great movie. But no, I'm talking about the movie Mystic River. This is one of those movies, even if I come across this movie in the last 5 minutes, I'm watching that last 5 minutes. Again, immaculate cast. Why am I completely drawing a blank on her name? Emmy something? The girl that plays Fiona in Shameless plays Sean Penn's daughter in that movie. There are 2 scenes in that movie with Sean Penn that is probably the most dramatic drama I've ever seen in my life. And probably, aside from Leo DiCaprio in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, probably the finest acting performance I've ever seen in my life is the 2 scenes in that movie with Sean Penn. The one when he finds out about his daughter, and the second would be the one of him and Tim Robbins on the porch. Absolutely chills every time I see that. So if you haven't seen Mystic River, if you're one of those people that hasn't heard of that movie, do yourself a favor, get it on Amazon or get it on Hulu, or you probably have all the movie services like I do. One of them probably has it on there for free. Watch that movie. It'll be worth it. Even if you have to pay $3 or whatever it is for it, you will absolutely thank me for it. That is a fantastic movie. And Kevin Bacon's in that movie too. And he's really, really good in that movie. My number 1 favorite movie of all time, I've said this before, it is an absolute masterpiece. It's not only my favorite movie, but I believe it might be one of the best movies that's ever been made. I know everybody says, oh, Citizen Kane and whatever. It's Goodfellas. Again, Scorsese, he can do no wrong in my book. The man is an absolute genius. The story of Henry Hill, how can you go wrong there? Absolutely fantastic. Love every single second of that movie. So it's the best that's ever been done as far as I'm concerned. And I can't get enough of that movie. So, and of course, De Niro in it. It could have been either that or Casino, right? Because I told you De Niro, but I love the movie Casino. But I wasn't going to put that in my top 5. That's a great movie. You put Pesci and De Niro together, you're going to have a good movie. And they did a great job in that. So yeah, that's it. The Karate Kid, Zombieland, The Departed, Mystic River, and Goodfellas. Those are my top 5 favorite movies. We've got another quick... I'm try to do it quick because I know the numbers are already going down, 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 and that's fine. I understand it. But the next John's World comes from CJ Black, a very common commenter on my channel. I really think you're onto something here. I'm loving the segmented show. Hashtag John's World, how did you and Lisa meet? I actually talked about this in the Tank Talk podcast, episode 2, which I don't think you can even find anymore. I went into great detail of how that all worked out. I'm not going to go into as much detail here, but it's actually a pretty simple story. Her and I were set up by my sister. When I became single, I'm a shallow man, just like anybody else. It didn't take me long to get back out there and try to figure things out. And my sister tried to set me up with her friend. And I don't know, we never met. It just never really happened until my nephew, who was best friends at the time, and they're still very, very good friends, with Lisa's oldest son. And here's the funny thing. I knew Lisa's son, David, who's the one that had just had the baby. Well, his old lady had the baby. But I knew him way before I knew Lisa. I knew him for a couple of years before I knew her, because I would be at my sister's and he would always be over there, and he'd be wearing a Ray Lewis jersey every time I saw him. And it was kind of funny. Ray Lewis, he's a great player, but he wore that jersey out, and he doesn't even like the Ravens, which is what makes it weird. But my nephew was at Lisa's house. He had spent the night before, and that sounded weird. He was with her son. I mean, come on. But I was house sitting for my sister because they had went to New York on vacation, and I went to pick my nephew up, and that's when we met. I had seen her a couple of times before then, but that's when we actually met and talked, and we talked for probably half an hour in her driveway, and then I loaded all the kids up in the car and went home. And when my sister got home the next day or whatever, I said, all right, I need Lisa's number, because I haven't stopped thinking about her since. So that's how that went. And of course, because I'm a high schooler, I had to have my sister make sure that it was okay with Lisa if I called her. Check yes or no if I can call you. But that's how it went down. And we went on our first date probably, I don't know, like a week or two later. And yeah, and we're still together to this day. It's been 10 years. February, it was officially 10 years. It was February 28th when I met her picking up my nephew. And that's kind of like the day we celebrate as our anniversary. And it's cute. So that's that. That's all of John's World. There is no more. So yeah, there it is. We got to get right into thanking the people that have decided to take, good Lord, there's a lot of them. People that have decided to take money out of their pockets for whatever reason and give it to me. 169 people left. There was like 230 when I started John's World. Maybe that's a segment we ought to cut out. People are like, I don't care about that. I'm here for fish. I get it. I thought it would be something fun to do. So first one we have to thank here. Hopefully you're still with me. I'm going to go ahead and grab the chat, and I'm going to bring that over. Duke City Aquariums. Hey, John, big fan. Love your videos. Keep it up. Thank you, my friend. Very nice of you for the $2 super chat. Whoa, wine and wet sleeves has given a lot of super chats. And I believe is a member. Are you a member? I'm not 100% sure. But I got 3 lemon Oscars this week. I'm so excited. Bought a 300 just for them. Thank you for inspiring me. That is still an idea. And you know what? I'm going to do it. And Lisa's going to be mad at me. But I'm going to do it after I thank all these super chatters. I'm going to tell you what we're thinking about doing. But there's one part of it that I can't. We're not thinking about doing it. It's happening. But there's one part of it that I can't tell you because it's not set in stone yet. But yeah, here we go. So after the super chats, I'm going to tell you the big fat secret. So, and it does involve lemon Oscars. So thank you, Whoa Wine and Wet Sleeves. Allie Patton has become a new member of the KG Tropicals members list. I don't want to call you a KG team because that just seems weird. Yes, Whoa Wine is a member. Yeah, I thought so. Very cool. Unfiltered Aquarist. Super chats in every single stream I've done. Say my name in Beyonce's voice. Well, I just did say your voice. Say your voice. I said your voice. I said your name. And there you go. Thank you for that. You're a huge supporter of this channel, and I thank you very much. Victor Nunez with the $5 super chat says, "Hi, John. Need your opinion on having a 90 or 75-gallon fish tank set up inside of a garage. I live in California. Should I set up in the garage?" This is odd. This is weird because that's exactly what our big secret is. So I'm going to answer your question by telling you what our big secret is. Lisa's like, "Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it." So Lisa and I are moving forward. The 152 people that are still here are going to be the first to hear this. No, actually they're not, because the members heard this in a members only live stream. We are going to move forward with the garage project. Perfect, Victor. What's your vector, Victor? What movie is that from? So we're moving forward with the garage to make the garage into a fish room. But the thing is, I tried to explain this in that members only live stream, and I don't know if I did a good job or not. When you think of a fish room, and I'm not talking negatively about anybody. When you airplane, you got it. Good job, Stephen Thomas and RJ Riz. Good job. And don't call me Shirley. When you think about a fish room, you think of wood racks lined up, and all the tanks are in a straight line, and it looks really nice. And you see hoses going all over and air lines hanging down, and you hear a lot of noise, and it's air sound, and that's not what I want. I want it to be, I can't use the word gallery because Joey has that. He owns that, and that makes total sense. But the reason why Joey calls that a gallery is for the exact same reason why I don't want to call mine a fish room. I want it to be more like a showcase place, an exhibit. Gallery is perfect. Joey took that, and it's so smart. The calling it a gallery is perfect, but I'm not going to do that because there's some idiot that is always posting on my live streams. Joey says you copy him. I don't copy Joey, but I can be damn sure I'm not going to copy him and call my garage my gallery. I'm not going to do that. But that's the concept that I want it to be. I want it to be a relaxing, very formal kind of a place where we have just the tanks, and we have, we'll put some things on the wall, like that silver play button we ought to be getting soon, and maybe some logos of some brands that might be sponsoring us and stuff like that. Things like that we would put on the walls. But the way Lisa and I are talking about it, we're going to go in there, we're going to clear it out, which means we have to buy a shed first, which is going to be not this weekend coming up, but the one after that. clear the garage out, paint the walls, paint the floor, and then we can start moving stuff in and getting things going. This means that we will absolutely be setting up the 240. That I still have the idea in my head of doing lemon Oscars and lemon Oscars only in that tank, like 6 of them. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine 6 full grown? Of course, I'm going to buy them as babies, but when they get to be full grown, 6 full grown lemon Oscars in a 240 gallon tank, that's going to look unbelievable, and I can't wait for that. So yes, we will be setting that up, and yes, we will be setting up our 2 125s. And basically what we would be doing is moving everything out there. Everything that you see in here, except for probably Lou. I'll probably leave Lou in here just to have something in here. But everything, this is technically our quarantine tank, so that will go out there. Both 75s will go out there. And FISH, will go out there. You can't see it, but that tank is so dirty right now. The algae is absolutely out of control. So we're talking 2 75s, 2 125s, a 240, and a bunch of nanos. We are giving Lisa an entire wall of the garage that she's going to work on her super secret project there, which I will build for her. But it doesn't matter. It's going to be her super secret project there. So yeah, we're talking about a pretty nice setup here. And I'm not going to call it a gallery. I'm not going to call it a fish room. I don't know what I'm going to call it other than just really cool. And there are talks. They're just talks about a monster tank. 240 is pretty big. 240 is a pretty good sized aquarium. This one is more like 375. I don't know that it's going to happen. It's not official yet, but I think we might be ordering one, and won't that be something? So if that were to happen, don't say yay my own wall like that's the first time you've heard that. You know you claimed that wall the second we decided to go out there and do that. But 10,000 gallon, I wish. My name's not Joey. I can't afford that. Fish cave, good idea, but it sounds too much like man cave, and I hate when people say man cave, so I don't know. But I don't know what we're going to call it. We're just going to probably call it KG Tropicals because, if that 375 happens, it would be arowanas and stingrays. That's exactly what it would be, because that really would be the only reason I would get a tank that big, would be for arowanas and stingrays. So you can call that copying Joey all you want. I understand. He's got a very large, gorgeous aquarium with arowanas and stingrays in it. If you want to call me copying him, that's fine. But you can look at videos I did back in 2012 where I had silver arowanas in a 240 gallon tank. So this is not anything new for me. It's something that I've been after for a long time. And I hope the big tank's going to happen. Not 100% sure yet, but if it does, that will be amazing. But what I basically want to do out in that room is create a room that Lisa and I could go out in and just hang out. And we could film videos. Maybe I could stream out there. I sure would like to, because this room isn't going to have any aquariums in it anymore. I don't know that that really matters for live streams because, Corey doesn't have any tanks behind him. But, we all know Corey's the man. But Corey could do literally a video about paint drying, and it would get 80,000 views in the first day. But a 375 gallon angelfish tank, of course, Angelfish Haven would say that. No, but there could be angels in one of the tanks. But what we're doing, this is something I should probably keep secret too, but I'm not going to. I've got some of the new Fluval Filter coming, the 407, the new 7 series that they have. I've got 2 of those coming. Those are going to be put on these. That one and that one. Y'all don't know how hard this is. The 275s are going to go with the the 407s, the Fluval 407s, which will mean that the FX6 and the FX4 will go on the 125s. So in a very short time, we'd be able to put fish right in there. And so, yeah, that would be awesome. These fish would move up to the 125. Remember earlier today, I said they have something to do with the project. They would move up to the 125 to one of them. And then that tank, I'm trying to convince Lisa to let me have it to do angels, Dan. So, and she's putting up a little bit of a fight because basically what she's saying is, if you get that big tank and then you have the 240, you can have those, but all the other ones would be me. That's what she's saying. But I don't want it to be a fish room. I want it to be absolutely dead nuts silent out there so that we can do videos out there. We can stream out there and all that kind of stuff. Streaming would be difficult because I stream on a desktop. I am not moving my desktop out there. I have an iMac in here. It's a 27-inch iMac. I'm not going to move that out there every time I want to do a live stream. I'm not going to do it on my phone because that just looks terrible. So I don't know. The dream is to one day get an iMac Pro for my editing. Not because I need it, but just because I want it. And then I would make that my editing machine, which would be in here. And then I could move this iMac out to the garage and use this for streaming out there. And I would like that very much. But we're also going to be able to have a dedicated filming area for 10 Things. 10 Things has become the staple of our channel. And so that it gets the priority. Of course it does. Right now we use a portable green screen for those. And we hang it from a hook that's on the ceiling right up here. And we hang it in this room. And we record 10 Things in this little tiny room. I don't know how big it looks on camera, but this room's like 10 by 10. It's a little study. It's not meant to have all these aquariums in it. I mean, I can practically touch the tank behind me if that gives you an idea of how small this room is. It's not a micro room. I'm not in a closet, but it's a small room. So to be able to have a dedicated space out there that we can put a green screen up and leave it would be a beautiful thing. So having that dedicated shooting area, having all of the tanks, hopefully the new tank, and have it all be silent so that we can just go out there and enjoy it, and it'll be like a fish showcase. That would be kind of what we're looking for. That's what we want to do. It's going to take some time. It's not going to all happen overnight. It's not going to all happen at once. But if that big tank happens, that's actually going to happen pretty quick. I have a feeling. And there's a reason for it. If it happens, I'll do a video on it, of course, and I'll explain all of that in the video. So anyway, folks, this has been a lot of fun. I have 2 more people to thank real quick. Ghost in on you for the $2 super chat. Will you ever be in Ohio for the GCAS auction? I don't know. I want to go to Ohio because I want to go to Thanthane's place, Tidal Gardens. I want to go to Rob's place. I could go to the Ohio Fish Rescue. I could stop by and see Steve Poland. I mean, there's so many things that I could do in Ohio. I could go to the Christmas Story House. I mean, but I don't know if it's going to be the GCAS auction that's going to get me up there. So there you go. And Michelle Tennyson. It's not Michael, right? No. ELLE is Michelle. Michelle Tennyson with the $99 iPhone super chat. Thank you so much for that. No comment on it. Just here's some money. I love that. It's just a beautiful thing that people would want to do that. So thank you to all of you who stuck it out on this. I know the beginning was very rocky and I was awfully ranty there in the beginning, but it was fun. It's fun to get that kind of stuff off my chest. I enjoy it, and I hope you do too, because I enjoy doing it. So I did say something earlier about maybe stopping doing this. The reason for that would be because of the garage project. We're going to be putting up videos about that, and 4 videos a week I think is just too much for my channel. 3 is kind of a magic number. The channel's doing really, really well. 3 seems to be the magic number. So maybe while the garage thing is happening, I would take a little bit of a break from Tank Talk I don't know. We'll have to see. But plus I've got a baseball game, a Nats game, and a comedy show that I'm going to that are both on Thursday nights. Tom Segura, by the way, if you're wondering. And so I'm going to miss those nights anyway. So I don't know. We'll have to see. For now, nothing's getting canceled. We're still going to move forward with this. I wish I could do one that was not an hour and a half long. Wouldn't that be nice? But anyway, thank you all so much for coming out here and hanging out with me tonight. It has been a blast. Look forward to the next 3 10 Things episodes. Coming up on Sunday is going to be the 10 most common fish keeping mistakes delivered to you by Lisa and I. Normal format like we always do. The week after that, that's where reinforcements come in. We are going to do 2. I've already got the videos. We're going to do 2 episodes in a row that are going to be the biggest mistakes made by YouTubers. I have right now with me 16, I think I have. I'm waiting on 2 or 3 more. I have clips that these YouTubers took of themselves, sent to me, of them telling the story of the biggest mistake that they've ever made in this hobby. And we're talking about some heavy hitters in the YouTube fish tube world. Not all of them. There's channels of every size that have sent me clips. The channels that I really wanted to see are in there. And I had to keep it to 18. I mean, I could name 40, but I could only pick 18. So these are all channels that we wanted to collaborate with. They're all going to be in there, and they're all going to be telling their stories of the biggest mistakes that they've made. So it's going to be a big 3 weeks for 10 Things. So buckle up for that. Be ready for it. If you're not subscribed, do it. There's 141 people in here right now, and I promise you, not every single one of them is subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, do it now. I'm not talking about the $5 a month member thing. I'm talking about the free subscription. Do that because you don't want to miss the next 10 Things. They are going to be amazing. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. That's the second time I've said that. I will see you next week. Maybe the What's Going On segment will be some updates on the garage project. We'll have to see.